everybody, this is Felicia and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do some steps on preparing a study guide. So I'm going to be giving you some steps here. It is never too early to prepare for your study guide. It is never too early to get everything together, organized for quizzes, exams, finals, or anything like that. I know I'm talking finals kind of early, huh? Anyway, so what I'm going to be doing is going over some of these steps. And these steps are going to hopefully help you and hopefully aid you in creating your own study guide. So what you want to do is you can start with a header if you want to. And then you can have a subheading, of course, too, as well. You don't have to do it this way, but if you would like to do it this way is kind of like a outline. If you've ever done an outline for an essay or pretty much for a writing project or something like that, then you know how to kind of create your own outline. Outlines usually come with a heading, subheading, and then maybe 1, 2, 3, ABC, or however you want to organize the information that you have. So with this, I'm going to give you step 1. So organize your notes. Have your notes organized in a way that makes sense to you. Create your study guide in a way that makes sense to you as well. So some people call it a summary sheet, some people call it a review sheet, and some people call it a study guide. I call mine a study guide. You can call it whatever you want as long as you get it together. So you can divide your paper into columns, you can do an outline, or you can do it in a summary format. So that is all of step 1. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move to step 2. Now step 2, you can either create this on your own, or you can put it within your study guide. Step 2 is make a vocabulary section. Now the vocabulary section has key terms and their definitions. So knowing your vocabulary will help you feel more comfortable when you're studying your study guide or when you're creating it. This is very, very important because there are some words in some of our information, or some words are in our books or handouts or lectures or whatever that we don't quite understand. So it is best that you create your vocabulary and then your terms that goes with it. That is step 2. And then here you can see I'm typing. Remember, your study guide is created to your needs and no one else's. So always remember that. So now we're on to step 3 here. And step 3, it's very important. Some of us type, like myself. You want to handwrite your study guide if you can. Now, I know it's time consuming and I know it's all that, but getting a head start will help you. This is so important. You want to get a head start on this. So I would say either type them or you can handwrite them. My notes are handwritten, but I would take my study guide, my notes, and then make my study guide, and my study guide will be typed because I've already organized my notes. Start early. That's what you want to make sure that you do, is start early and do not procrastinate. Oh my gosh, no procrastination. That is the worst feeling in the world. And don't cram, because you don't want to cram. You don't want to try to get everything all in at once. That's why we're starting early. And then you do not want to pull an all-nighter. Oh, no. And I don't know if I spelled nighter right. I don't even know if that's even a word. It probably is, but who cares? You're getting the point across here. Just don't pull an all-nighter. So that is steps 1, 2, and 3. Step 4, you want to make your study guide personal. Make it your own. Most people fall into 5 different styles of learning: visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. Now, there's nothing wrong with those. Some people are just one of those. Some people are a combination of more than one of those, like myself. I'm a combination of visual and reading. I like to read. I love to basically learn a lot by reading, and that's exactly what I do. So, and some of you may be visual and auditory. Some of you may be auditory and in reading. You just never know. Whatever your style is, you want to make sure that you hone in on that particular style. Now, you've heard me mention early on that you want to get a head start as soon as possible when you're preparing for your test, your quiz, your midterms. Let me see if I can get this out right. Your quizzes, your exams, your finals, or anything in between. You just want to be ready for it. You want to get a head start. So with handouts, you want to make sure that you take really good notes, because it's nothing like having a handout and you just kind of read it and then you have to go and flip back through there because you did not take any notes or did any annotating on it. You just want to make sure that you have really good notes. There's ways that you can do it. You can do it by highlighting, you can do it by tabbing, you can do it by putting post-its in there, whatever it may. You want to make sure that when you do these notes, that those notes are also included in your study guide. In other words, the key points that are in your handout from your instructors. And sometimes if you're not clear, ask your professor, ask them, because they will definitely make it clear as to what is in the hand notes that they give you or want you to print out, so that you can put them into your study guide. Now here you see I have a study guide already ready for one of my classes. Now what I like about Notion is you can also change the color very easily too. It really does work. But you can see me circling summary on here. Now I circled that because that was a summary of that particular section, and I only put a few sentences. For each section that I'm going to be doing, I'll be putting a little small summary. That way I can get the idea what that whole thing or the previous notes that was in there was all about. You want to make sure that you do understand what you are putting in your study guide. Like I said, if you're not sure, you need to ask your professor. They will always tell you exactly what's going to be in there, or they'll give you an idea of what's going to be in your study guide. Once again, like I said, it is not too early. Take copious notes, diving into your lectures. Whether it's a pre-recorded lecture or a live Zoom lecture, a printout, or whatever it may be. Make sure you dive into that information, because if you're not paying attention to the information, it is going to be very hard for you to take notes and then to take those notes and put them into a study guide. And then we're going down to organizing your notes. Once again, I'm going to say this again. Organize your notes with the date of the lecture or Zoom or whatever it is that they give you, and the subject. Make sure those things go on your notes. That way you can go back and flip through and go, okay, this was said on this date. I'm going to put it in the study guide. So you want to make sure that you do those things, because if you don't, you will not have the proper study guide. Okay. Your notes are your study guide, but if you want a more condensed and precise way of studying, then you want to take those notes and kind of condense them up. It's just a lot of information condensed together that you want to make sure gets into that study guide. This is going to help you create a cool study guide, and it's going to be your study guide and your study guide only. Studying for exams can seem intimidating sometimes, but you can increase your chances of your success by creating your own study guide. Once again, create your own study guide. And I'm putting a lot of emphasis on this because I want to make sure that you understand that creating your own study guide is a good idea. And you can even use the table of contents and a book to create your own study guide. And the best way to do that is by just going over the chapters. It'll give you a great outline. And so you can do that with your books. As far as essays are concerned, that's a separate subject. That is something that I would have to come on later on, if requested, to kind of give you an example of getting an outline for an essay. Now, once you get an outline for your study guide, you can be able to start to basically take that study guide and just accumulate them for maybe your final or whatever the case may be. But when creating an essay, you would like to start out by having an outline. Outlines are the best way to start essays. That way you know what information you want to put in there. It kind of gives you an idea of what you want to put in there by your subject, and then your subheadings, and always include a thesis in your essays. Always, always, always. And then your thesis is always going to be at the end of your conclusion. You're going to rephrase everything you've written in an essay at the end of your essay into your conclusion. But that is a little bit more detailed, and right now we're just talking about study guides, which is very important. So like I said, you can divide your paper up however you feel and choose to. You want to make sure that whatever information that you have to put into this study guide is going to work for you. Alrighty, so that's all I have today, guys. So be sure to tune in, because I have some more tips on how to create, some other things here. I wouldn't say things, but a lot of stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I would like to be able to share more information that I have, and I would like to basically provide you with resources, such as things from your school, like your library or whatever the case may be. So take care, everybody, and have a great and wonderful study week. Bye-bye.